I am melting. It is too warm for my own good. I do not like feeling hot. Anyway, let's get into it. I decided to change up the ability for ease of play, I guess. I've now got it pretty much sort of, you just activate stuff and walk around hitting stuff with my auto attack, I guess. My lucky hit is way too low for me to really be able to utilize this build properly. But at the moment, I'm only using Claw for one effect, as you can see. And that is for the, whenever I crit, I heal for 3%. Ideally, I would not be using Claw. My brain is just not functioning during this weather. So the whole point of this build is going to be obviously based around lucky hits and resetting the companion abilities. Yeah. Did I just lose Bulwark when I became... No. So how did I lose Bulwark? What the fuck? I just lost Bulwark, didn't I? I activated it and it disappeared. Was that bugged or something? No idea. So I'm not really getting the lucky hit resets purely for the fact that, like, I just don't have any lucky hit. I think my lucky hit is currently like 5%, and the actual lucky hit factor of pack leader is based entirely around the base lucky hit. So it doesn't matter about the lucky hit that I use for my abilities. I'm still doing a good amount of AoE. Ideally, I don't really wanted... that sentence went completely wrong. Ideally, I didn't want to be using Hurricane. But it does seem to be a good way to get vulnerability onto minions. It does kind of help, because with Hurricane being up, it's a passive thing. It's just there in the background. I don't need to aim it at anything. Yeah. Oh man, I've got an ear infection as well currently. It's difficult to even hear anything. So the only thing that I'm technically doing at the moment is just spamming my auto, which is really cool. Because it means that I'm not really spamming my keyboard. Ideally, the only ability, two abilities that I will be spamming towards later endgame for my build is going to be... You know, I've noticed one major difference between Nature's Fury and this build. The amount of things that stun you, knock you back, knock you down. Holy shit, my character spends most of the time on the fucking floor. It's like Unstoppable is something that is needed on every fucking character. Such a dumb thing. I actually quite hate Unstoppable. I hate the fact that there are so many monsters that knock you to the ground, knock you back, knock you down, knock you around, stun you. Like, holy shit, the crowd control in this game is insane, dude. The only two abilities that I want to be spamming are these two. The Wolves and Poison Creeper. Everything else is a sort of you know, press it when there's an elite or when there's a boss. That's where I want to get to with the build. Obviously, I'm nowhere near that yet. I'm not using Ravens for the vulnerability because I'm not really spamming Ravens, to be honest. And the enemies can actually make Ravens very lackluster because they move just as much as the player does, and they get outside of the Raven AoE very quickly. The AoE of Ravens is way too small. There is something that I'm going to talk about at the end of this video, so if you want to skip that, that's all well and good. But it involves talking about Ravens as an ability. I'm not going to talk about it yet, because obviously I don't want to drone on midpoint in a video. The damage is fine. My damage is fine, considering that I'm using only companion skills. I mean, it could be better, but it's fine. It's not bad. As long as it's not bad, then it's fine. That's the way it works, right? As long as you're getting okay damage. The clear speed is potentially there. Obviously, this type of build really does need the lucky hit spam of resetting abilities, because without that you lose a horrendous amount of damage. But it's fine. It's kind of interesting that I tried to pull away from Nature's Fury from the spam to give my keyboard a rest, and yet I'm basically spamming still. Diablo 4. Hashtag spam the game. Spam, 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 spam. Lovely spam! But yeah, I'm clearly not getting those triggers. I'm kind of hoping that in the future I won't need this. That resetting the cooldowns is completely unnecessary. But at level 33, it's kind of necessary to be able to get the damage out. I'm hoping that... Ow. That as I get more damage through those abilities, that I can spam them less. Right? What can you expect? I'm level 33. I think that I'm still doing fair damage for being level 33, you know? Wow, I just got 3 creepers spammed there. So the potential for creeper spam is nice. But again, that's poison damage. Don't really want to be doing that. The reason why I want to spam creeper is not for the damage, by the way. The reason why I want to spam it is because as long as they're immobilized by the vines, they have to be immobilized by the vines. critical strike goes up. So it says the critical strike chance is increased by 20% against enemies strangled by poison creeper. Strangled, not immobilized, I guess. It just means that that the active effect is applied to that particular enemy. Otherwise it would say immobilized, but no. Which means that you get the increase when you are attacking bosses, which is, you know, really nice. Poisoned enemies take additional critical strike damage. Very important. I'm not really doing long range. See, this is the tricky bit for the build at the moment. Like, where do I put my points now? Because I'm not really interested in using a core skill, because the ability, I don't know if I've got it on me. Should have. Huh. Earth skills deal more damage. I'm not using earth skills. It's grind. There we go. There it is. Skills deal up to 10%. That's on the lower end. Increased damage based on your available primary resource, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full. So I'm never going to spend spirit. As long as I have 100% spirit, I just innately get plus 10, or in, you know, the top end case it would be plus 20. And if I put that on my two-handed weapon, that'll be plus 40%. So I'm going to be doing that to try to help my companions to be getting more damage. At the moment, getting the attack speed is what I've added, right? Yeah. The attack speed is helpful for me because it allows me to hopefully try and trigger those procs. Because obviously with the Spirit Boon, lucky hit crits, especially on normal attacks, allow me to get the resets, which is obviously necessary at this point in the game for me to get those resets. Ideally, I want to be doing as many world events and hell tides as possible. The specific reason is because I need legendary spam. I need to be able to just get legendaries at the drop of a button. Because I need to be able to find those imprints. This build is entirely based around those imprints, and if I don't get them, then bit of an issue. Also, by the way, the Hurricane is also not triggering the resets. Hurricane is classed as a damage over time effect while it's active. It's not an on-hit effect. It's just not applying it as a dot. It's just an area dot. It's the same as having area damage on the floor. And unfortunately, damage over time cannot trigger crits. It says that right on the critical strike itself. If you read it, damage over time cannot critically strike, meaning that Hurricane cannot crit, which is saddening, to say the least. But it's an AoE. It's helping me to sustain some damage to several targets. It's giving me a little bit of extra damage, considering that I'm mainly pet build. Which doors auto-opened when you got near them? So now we're going to see what kind of damage I'm going to be doing against a boss. The hell am I putting this point into? I guess I could do that for now, just to get a little bit of poison damage. I guess I'll just max out the Ravens, though I think that that's pretty pointless to do. Maybe I'll put the points into the Hurricane, just so that that does extra damage. I don't really know. Yeah, there you go. I got 2 lots of poison off on the boss. it's kind of revealing just how much damage over time a character has when you realize that damage over time cannot trigger, you know, critical strikes. And when your build is based around critical strikes and you're just not getting those benefits, like, wow. Like, you feel it in your build immediately. So at the end of this fight, I'm going to be talking about the Raven. You might want to skip the end of this, because it's just me, you know, it's basically complaining. But I'm not really, I'm pointing out a negative for the Raven. Especially if you're thinking about using it yourself. Okay, ooh, just gotta... Shit one. Okay, so let's talk about Ravens. Why is it terrible? I guess I'll put points into this. Why is Ravens terrible? I am not going to be using Ravens for the vulnerability. Therefore, I have no reason to use Ravens. That's it. That's how bad it is. I'm completely against the 5 seconds that it takes. That's one attack that does what? Barely 120 damage from each Raven every 5 seconds. It's the worst companion. It's the worst minion. It's the worst skill effect that I think that you'll come across in the game outside of knockback. I think knockback is the worst, the absolute worst. But when it comes to a game about damage over time, about sustained damage, the rapidity of damage, the spammage of the damage, the wham bam spammage of the damage, and then it's a 5 fucking second cooldown timer. Even if Ravens did its damage every second, and it clearly says every 1 second a Raven swoops down, its base damage would still be horrendous, because you can't increase that with attack speed. So if you get attack speed, it's still only 1 second. If you have 1,000 attack speed, your Raven, attack, 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 attack. It's really bad. The Raven, however, I think the developers, the way that they've done it, is not supposed to be used as a active companion because of one thing. This, the enhanced Ravens. They don't want you spamming Ravens because it applies critical strike chance. I do genuinely think that the ability itself is made shit for its passive because of that, but the only reason to actually use this is not even for the crit, so I don't know why they did that to begin with. The active ability of vulnerable is why you use Ravens. Now, I'm not going to do that. I am never going to use it for its vulnerable thing. I'm going to be getting vulnerable elsewhere. I'm going to be looking into that. For now, I'm getting it through Hurricane with the Lucky Hit. I will be obviously investing a lot into Lucky Hit, like 20 to 50% on the top end. So having something like Hurricane up with its high Lucky Hit chance means that all the enemies are just basically always going to be vulnerable. I have no reason to use Ravens. This does seem to be the best way to apply vulnerable to targets. It also applies slow. So damage that says damage to slowed enemies or crowd controlled enemies or stuff like that, Hurricane will also make that more prevalent. Ravens, if you remove the vulnerable from it, is an absolute trash tier skill. This, if you're never going to use vulnerable, should never be picked. So I'm using pure companions, which means I'm going to be using all of the abilities on the companion tree. All companion skills are going to be used by me. That's the whole point of this video, the videos that follow and everything else. But if you go companions and you don't have vulnerable from your Ravens, get rid of the Ravens. There is no reasons to keep it. If you really do want to keep a Raven up, then have one rank in it and Enhanced Raven. So that when the Raven comes down, it applies that 5% crit, and therefore done. Ignore this for everything else. Its actual damage is trash. It's really bad. It's really low end. The spam ability of Poison Creeper will outdo this tenfold, and the active of Wolves obviously triggering that lucky hit. The Wolves itself has 52% lucky hit chance, which is very good for resetting the companions. That basically means that every time I use Wolves active, there's a good 50% chance that it will just reset the Wolves passive, which is very good. But I still need more lucky hit. The great thing about this is that lucky hit, base lucky hit, works with the skill. So if I can get 50% lucky hit chance, my Wolves, whenever I use their ability, should, theoretically, this is the one thing that I want to test. This is the one thing that I'm looking forward to. That if I can get 50% lucky hit chance, get lucky hit chance on as much gear as possible, the high-end rolls, if I could get 50%, that means that this ability should have 100% lucky hit chance, which means that it therefore has the 20% from the crit. If I can get my crit up, and if I can sustain the amount of crits, obviously I can't just go lucky hit, I have to get crit as well. But if I can get lucky hit to be like 50% as well as get my crit up, I should theoretically be able to spam this move. This is going to be my end game spam thing. I want to be able to make Wolves spammable. As in, every time I press it, it comes off cooldown. Press it, comes off cooldown. Press it, it comes off cooldown. This is what I want to do. This is the specific reason why I'm not going to get poison damage. I'm going to go pure companion damage. And it's all going to be working towards making this one skill spammable. We also then obviously get the crit from Ravens, so getting as many Ravens out as possible, making sure that that increased crit to be able to trigger the lucky hit is the one thing that I need Ravens for. I don't need Ravens for its damage, so it's completely pointless. The poison is terrible, but as long as I can spam it, getting strangled means that I just get 20% increased crit. You can see where I'm going with this, right? So that's going to be the direction, but I just had to, at the end of this video, stipulate why Ravens is a fucking terrible move if you're not doing the build that I'm going to be building towards. And it's going to be the lucky hit spammage. I will make a separate video when I feel comfortable, when I'm at a certain point, about, showcasing that. But at the moment, I'm level fucking 33. I just need to spam dungeons until I get to level 50. And why 50? Because then I can do Nightmare Dungeons. And I can make the Glyths work. And also, I could start working towards the Paragon, which will, in turn, make companions 10 times better than what they currently are. At the moment, I have no aspects that benefit my character. So I've just gone for basic things that increase my attack speed. When I have Fortify Earth skills gain +2, I get natural fortification because of Earth and Bulwark. It's going to get +2 by default. As you can see, it's currently 3 out of 5. My Fortify isn't going down for some strange reason. But that obviously means that I just get a nice barrier. I've gone with get a barrier whenever I hit an elite. Again, my build is going to be all about defense, keeping me alive. And it's going to be obviously spamming these two moves. This is probably going to be ignored completely. I'm not even going to use this for damage. The only time I'm going to really use it is just on a boss for a bit of extra tickage. And against elites that have got a lot of monsters around them. Most of the AoE damage is probably going to come from Hurricane or something similar. Earth skills deal, blah blah blah. I'm not using Earth skills. Again, I just need to get that off there, whatever. I was prattling around with Pulverize. That's the only reason why that's on there. Earthen Bulwark increased by 6 seconds. Basic skills grant 20% damage reduction. So obviously I am still going to spam the basic attack. That's going to be the only thing that I do during combat. And during that attack, the obviously 10% chance to attack twice, that has the chance of critting, and if it does crit, then it heals me. So I get sustain, I get defense, I get the ability to reset my cooldowns on the lucky hit. The lucky hit of Claw is 52%, so the more spammage that I can get from Claw, the better. For now, I don't know if Claw is going to be my endgame thing. We'll see about that, but still. Attacking enemies with a basic skill increases core damage. Again, I was prattling around with Pulverize. That's the only reason why that's on there. Skills deal up to 10% increased damage. This is very important. It's going to be on my weapons by default at some point. We're going to try and get that plus 40% increase. And you gain defenses while you're spamming moves. So again, max life, total armor, increased armor, cooldown reduction, lucky hit, and crit. These are the things that I need to look for on my build. And I'll let you know what the outcome is going to be, because I'm going to be trying to narrate the build as I go along, obviously, with these videos. Well, that tooltip's a bit broken. I'm clearly getting the +2. Either way, thank you for watching. As you can see, the damage is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm only level 33. My damage is pretty good for a level 33. As you can see, I'm using all the companion moves, just some basic AoE damage, get those defenses, and it's working pretty good. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you in further videos. The next set of videos, I might try and do 2 lots per day. One showcasing this, and then another video using Nature's Fury, so that I get both builds as a daily sort of upload to the channel. I don't really want to spam that many videos per day for YouTube. I don't want to be uploading that many videos, but I think 2's okay for now. I mean, that's 14 videos a week. That seems a bit excessive, but I still want to do Nature's Fury because I want to unlock World Tier 4. And with World Tier 4, doing Hell Tides and World Events, the increase of getting the imprints that I need for this character when I level it up is vital. I need to be able to get those spammage for stuff like that, and if I can do that on both characters, that'd be pretty cool. But until then, thank you for watching, take care, and yeah, I'll see you in future videos. I'm gonna go lie down before I pass out from this bloody heat. Take care. Bye-bye.